What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Them Nerds. We're still here. Big apologies for us being a little bit spotty. It seems I caught a little bit of the COVID-19. And we've been, with the holidays and that and work stuff, things have been a little bit tight for these nerds. And we're back. And we should be with you a lot more often, a lot more regularly from this point forward. Gerald, it's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
All right. Speaking of COVID, let's jump right into it. What's going on over in the great United Kingdom?
There's a lockdown has been put into place, and so all shows that we've been waiting to see get put into production and movies have been put on hold. So you have WandaVision. Doctor Strange: Multitude of Madness is now on. It might be Multitude or
Multiverse.
Yeah, Multitude too.
There's a multitude of that stuff too.
It's on hold. The Witcher's on hold. I believe Mission Impossible is now back on hold. But I believe it's only a 2-week hold. So
that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad. I tell you what, man, there have been so many little news tidbits and rumors and things that seem to be tied to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, especially like, Spider-Verse related things and bringing in other properties. And it's just like, it's a cruel joke. It's 2020's leftover cruel joke that we have to keep waiting to get this stuff that you and I especially have really been waiting for.
Yeah, especially when, you were just sitting there waiting for, Spider-Man is also filming there. So I'm guessing it's also on hold. But you have, all these announcements of Tobey Maguire coming back and Andrew Garfield and Kirsten Dunst and all the villain big bads from all three franchises now possibly being in these movies, and you're just waiting to see some picture out there and nothing.
Well, the one that got me excited was Alfred Molina coming back as Doc Ock.
Yeah,
he was one of my favorite villains from any of the from any of the Spider-Man films, and I think he's such a good actor. So I'm just excited to see him back. You mentioned a couple of other properties in there. First of all, Mission Impossible, they're still making them.
Yeah. They're actually very profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, big props to Tom Cruise for carrying that thing for so long.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever. The Mission Impossible movies always seemed, to me like just like a good old fashioned action flick.
Yeah, it's like, basically like watching Fast and the Furious. You're not going there to watch content, you're going there to watch the action. So
yeah,
it's like I never walked out there. I was like, man, this storyline though.
What an Oscar worthy performance.
I left there thinking he really hung on to that plane.
Right. Yeah. Wow. He really stayed flat when he dropped down from the roof there. And The Witcher, I'm bummed that it seems like it's going to be forever. All of these new like big streaming shows like The Witcher, and like Sabrina's dead now, but Sabrina was one of them that I was always waiting for. And the Mandalorian and all of the Marvel, it's like they're so exciting. You want them to show up, and then they show up, and it's like you get 8 episodes and they're gone.
Well, I think that's the reason why, and Marvel has taken advantage of this. Tyler Perry has the right idea when it comes to making his movies and TV shows. He's built the biggest production company and sound studio in America. And basically there's housing on there, there's food on there, there's everything you need. So you never leave. So once you get the people in there in a controlled setting, it's very hard to get anybody that's going to get in there and affect anybody. Right. So everything that's being filmed down there has still been going on. I believe, I said that Spider-Man was still filming in the UK, but I believe it actually has moved to Atlanta now. So, and that's where Hawkeye's, after they filmed all their stuff in New York, they were going to be moving down there also. So,
right. Yeah. It's cool to have an all-inclusive sort of place like that. So they can focus on what they need to focus on and not have to worry about all this other nonsense. But that's a bummer. I hate delays, but we're almost to WandaVision, which we're going to talk about separately, but exciting.
Looking brighter.
Stuff.
It's looking brighter.
Yeah, it'll get there. It'll get there. Well, during my sabbatical, due to having an infectious disease, we got to watch Wonder Woman. So let's talk about a little bit of DC stuff here real quick. Wonder Woman, aka Wonder Woman 1984, aka Goldar from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, aka Care Bears movie 1982 2.0.
Jeez, oh, Pizzo. You and I both loved the first Wonder Woman film. We always talk about how that's like the gold standard that the DC film should stand up to, right?
Yep.
This one was not it. It was not it.
Now, and when we say that, I'm not saying it's Gal Gadot at all. I think Gadot, whatever her name is.
Diana Prince.
Yeah, yes. Still an excellent choice for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
That was not the failure in this movie. I didn't feel like visually that was the failure of the movie. There was no story, and the story that they had was just crap.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's literally, if you've ever, children in the 80s, especially, and if you had sisters or whatever watched Care Bears, there was literally a movie where the evil of the earth is taking over, and all the Care Bears have to join together and push their powers out of their chest to fight back this evil. That's the last 20 minutes of Wonder Woman.
Jerry, our resident Care Bear expert, ladies and gentlemen.
Hurry.
Yikes. We love furries. We aren't furries.
No.
But we love them.
But we don't.
That's right. I had really high hopes for this movie. Having Pedro Pascal, I thought, this is going to be good, man. Gal Gadot is such a good pick for Wonder Woman, and Pedro Pascal is, pretty can't miss from what I've seen of him. And it just didn't click.
No,
it was too long.
It was way too long. And then there's some questionable things that happen in the movie also, which I didn't really put two and two together until I started reading a lot of people's reviews of the movie. And that had this movie been played by, let's say, Batman figured out how to, no, let me see if I can figure out somebody else that would be a good one. Let's say like Christopher Reeve's Superman after Lois Lane dies, right? Before he flies around the earth in reverse.
Spoilers.
If you haven't seen that movie, you're about 50 years late. So, so say he was able to touch a crystal and then bring her back, but it's only the essence of her in somebody else's body. Then you proceed to have sex with that person. Then that person reverts back to the person they were before, and then you just give them a dirty smile on the street. That's a questionable subject in the movie.
Yeah.
When that guy prayed for a farm and he had just 2 cows, now there's just 2 random cows wandering around London. That's not
wandering the streets. Come with me, but my farm.
Yeah.
So bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, that's like that premise of that movie was Bill Cosby. He knew what was going on. They didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. If you would have like run Wonder Woman 84 down for me and said, all right, so the premise of this film is you've got an ambitious entrepreneur who finds an ancient artifact, and he uses it to use people's desires and wishes to change the landscape of the world. And as a secondary part of the storyline, I don't know, or an equal part of the storyline, you have the development of Cheetah, who's one of Wonder Woman's classic villains. And if that would have been what you told me as the synopsis of this film, I would have been like, yeah, that sounds good, sure. But yeah, the whole like weird Captain Kirk, weird out of body sex thing,
and fashion show.
The fashion show was terrible. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that in the movie they could show you that guy had that taste, which means that guy was still in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like you said, if this would have been Bruce Wayne or Barry Allen, randomly boinking some individual who happens to have some essence, then we would be like, #me too, get this guy out of here, right? Oh well.
Then I also feel like there was premises of the movie that were well enough that they could have gone on a separate storyline that made it well. So you're going in the 80s. You're talking about how the president of the United States wishes for more nuclear weapons so that he can bomb, all over the world, basically.
Everyone. Yeah.
Well, that really was the 80s.
Right.
So why not really just utilize Ronald Reagan and Gorbachev?
Yeah.
Have them both using this. I'm pretty sure Gorbachev was the president of the USSR, right? I didn't just make that up.
He was that. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, just make sure. So and it's been a while, tore down that wall and I forgot.
Been a while since we had to hide under our desks in elementary school to protect us from nuclear fallout.
So you could have had her do that and just completely gone warrior princess like she did in the last movie to stop, the chaos going from happening.
Right.
But I don't know. It was just I felt like they went through all 50 comments. They just threw them up in the air and they landed down, and whatever page was on, they were like, let's figure out how to put this in a movie.
Yes.
Let's steal an airplane. He hasn't flown since World War I. How does he know how to fly a fighter jet?
I don't know.
They weren't planes in World War I's made out of paper. I think they're called paper gliders. I'm almost positive of it.
I don't know, man.
I'm almost positive.
Okay, we'll take your word for it.
I watched the History Channel. There's no way that you knew how to fly a fighter jet. Then she's going to sit there and she's going to tap into her sixth chakra and turn the plane invisible. The hell?
I don't know, man. Blame DC.
Freaking Superman's Fortress. What is it?
Fortress of
Fortitude. Every time I get it wrong.
Fortress of Solitude.
Believable. It's more believable.
Yes. And I think that our take on the film is probably pretty in line with most of the public out there, based on what we saw with Rotten Tomatoes ratings and comments that people were making online. In general, at some level, I think the majority of fans were disappointed by it, to put it mildly. So I don't know.
I would have been disappointed if I paid for it at a movie theater.
Oh man, if I would have gone to the movie theater to watch that, I would have been so mad.
What makes me mad is there was a really good movie that happened right before the pandemic that everybody could have watched and it ended up bombing, which was Birds of Prey, which is actually an excellent DC movie that got put out. And we waited 2 years now for Wonder Woman to come out. And what did you do in those 2 years? And also, Kristen Wiig's neck is very long, is because she's supposed to be a cheetah. She wanted to be a predator or whatever. And that's why her neck is long. Stop asking why her neck is long. Cheetahs have long necks. Look at a cheetah. I don't know why she has a mullet, but
it's the 80s. It's the 80s. So, I don't know where they go from here with Wonder Woman. There's a lot that's up in the air with DC and their film universe. I'm reading that Ray Fisher, aka Cyborg, is, if you ask the studio, he's done. If you ask him, he's not done, and he's still going to be there because the people who he feels treated poorly are going to be out. Yes, he wants a recount. Yes, but it used to be that the DC films were kind of shaky and the DC TV stuff was pretty spot on. Well, now before we got on here, we were talking about Green Arrow and the Canaries, which was supposed to be kind of a spinoff of the anchor show of the CW's DC universe. Dead. No more Green Arrow and the Canaries. Do you care?
No, I really don't.
I used to care.
Yeah. I think that, first off, when you have 30 seasons of Green Arrow, there's nothing wrong with taking a break before you reintroduce the character. Now, why can't those characters just still be well and incorporated very well in an existing franchise and still be able to have the idea of what the TV show is going to be within a different show? And I don't have any issues with that.
Sure.
But I don't think
they may
the whole standalone.
I know that the three main characters from that show, the Green Arrow, who was Oliver Queen's daughter, and then the two different Black Canaries. They were all really popular characters. I could definitely see them popping up somewhere else. I feel like the whole CW connected TV universe is the shine is gone a little bit for me. And maybe I'm just jaded because I've watched so much of it for so long. But Black Lightning is gone. Supergirl is gone. Green Arrow is gone. Now the spinoff is dead. I don't know if Stargirl and Superman and Lois are going to carry it for me.
Yeah, I don't know either. But maybe with the reworking of Batwoman, and you got the Superman and Lois Lane series that's going to come out, there might be enough freshness in there. You know what I mean? They got to figure out where. Maybe once we see how Marvel's going to do with their TV shows. Are you going more of the theatric or more of the camp TV show, or what you're doing? It can also give them an idea of what direction viewers are trying to look at. When they were really the only comic book content on TV, people were fine with that because they just wanted comic book content on the TV.
Right. Right.
So now that they have competition, they have to be able to weigh the idea of where are we moving? What direction are we moving now that we have direct competition against us?
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. The hype, I feel like, is 99.9% on Marvel right now, just because of the coming of WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I don't know. Maybe that's why DC seems to be a little bit less lustrous to me.
I always found the DC shows, which I do enjoy them, and like Legends of Tomorrow is my favorite one, but I find that what I like about Marvel content is that it's a little bit more based in reality, whereas DC really sticks to the idea that they're inside the comic book world. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that they would really benefit from coming a little bit closer to the actual real world.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I remember as a kid, one of the first things that made me realize I liked Marvel a little bit better than DC was the superheroes in Marvel lived in places like New York and San Francisco and Los Angeles. And in DC, you had like Metropolis and Gotham City. And I was just like, those aren't real places.
Yeah. Like as if Chicago and New York had a trademark or something. No, you can't use it.
Yeah. Nope. I don't want to pay New York their copyright fee. Come on. All right. Moving on from comic book stuff, I have to talk about some Star Wars stuff or my head will explode. First of all,
no, we don't need that. You already got through COVID.
Right. No, we don't want exploding head. Well, cool, man. Good talk. Star Wars, The High Republic, the next big publishing and media project based in Star Wars, has launched. I ordered this for my kids. This is one of the first pieces of the High Republic. It's called The Great Jedi Rescue, and it comes with stickers, which is cool. Yeah, super cool stuff.
Are those for the kids too?
Sure they are. Yeah, just don't look at my laptop. There are The Great Jedi Rescue, which is the book I just showed you. It's meant for kids about 4 to 8. There's one called A Test of Courage, which is for kids about, I think they said 8 to 12. Light of the Jedi also just came out, which is an adult novel. It's like any other novel. It's out. I haven't gotten it yet. Thanks, Amazon. There's another one coming out in February called Into the Dark. It's a young adult novel, so it should be around the level of like Hunger Games. And then there are 2 ongoing comic series that are going to be following the High Republic. That's a lot of information that we're going to be fed about this new part of the Age of Republic. It takes place 200 years before the prequels, 800 years after the events of the Old Republic content. And it's supposed to be the Jedi at the height of their power as the Guardians of I was gonna say the Guardians of the Galaxy, but across the streams there. Some really cool stuff so far, just kind of like looking at what I've seen online and flipping through, the kids' book here. There's a prominent Wookiee Padawan. Yoda is set to play a huge role in the High Republic content. This is 200 years before the prequels, so he's about 600 years old or so, which he dies in his 900s. So he's, at the height of his abilities, is what they say. I was looking at the ships and the planets and all of the content that's going along with this, and I am so excited to see if they do an actual film with this stuff. I think they're going to have to, because
sure.
I mean, they're introducing so many cool characters, such cool new scenery. It's going to be a huge part of this. But, that's right now, it's all just on the page. Nothing so far. But moving on to the screen, we have to talk about, because we haven't done a show since, we have to talk about that Mandalorian season 2 finale.
Amazing.
Spoilers if you haven't already watched it.
Yeah. If you haven't already turned off because of Care Bears from the 80s and from Superman from the 80s also.
Right. I know what that finale was for me. What was that finale for you?
I think you spent, like you had watched it before I had watched it. I was probably like a day behind you. And that last 10 minutes of the show, your mouth's just open the whole time. You're just thinking, no, there's no way, there's no way, there's no way. And then there you go.
Oh my God. So again, spoilers if you haven't seen it. Boba Fett and all of the rest of the people that Din Djarin had picked up in his journeys, they help him get to this space station, and then he goes in with Fennec and who else goes in the doggone thing? All the names are flying around in my head. Cara Dune.
I'm not a person with names.
Yeah, no.
That lady with the gun.
The one lady with the gun, the other lady with the gun. No, it's Fennec Shand, Cara Dune, Bo-Katan, and oh gosh, what's Sasha Banks' character called? I can't remember. Anyway, the other Mandalorian lady.
Yeah.
They all go in and they split off into their different little, tasks. And then we get this super cool scene where Din Djarin is fighting one of the Dark Trooper droids, and he's just like getting his face, pie-faced into the wall. All kinds of things happen. Grogu gets rescued, and then the very last scene we get, of course, Luke Skywalker. So, and R2-D2, of course, the real hero of the Star Wars saga. I loved every second of that final episode, and I could break down every moment of it if I had the time here, but three things stood out to me. Number one, the all-female strike force that boarded that ship did organically and without any hype what Endgame tried to do when they put together all those A-Force type women. I felt like it was kind of like a little. I felt like it. Huh?
That's very not. I'm gonna stay out of women.
No, I felt like I think that there's an amazing cast of female characters in the Marvel films, but I felt like they put all of the female heroes in one spot at one time just to be like, look, we're going to do this with all of these women. Right. And it was cool. And I have a young daughter. It's the kind of moment that I would hope she would see and be like, yeah, that's bad. But I love the idea that these four women in this Mandalorian finale just kind of there was no hype about it. It wasn't oh, wow, look, it's, it's all the women that are on the show. They were just no, we're 4 out of the 5 badasses that are on this ship, and we're about to go do some damage.
You wanted it more like that scene in Infinity where Black Widow is getting beat up, and then all of a sudden Scarlet Witch and Akeo, whatever, show up and help her. Where it's more, it's just that was a much more we can nod without having to actually say this. Oh, look what we're doing.
Yes, that moment in Endgame where they had all of the female characters all together all at once. I felt like that was specifically put in there to be we're going to do an A-Force spinoff.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all the women. Right.
Yeah.
And I felt like the moment that you mentioned in Infinity War, and then this moment on Mandalorian was a little more organic. I don't know. That was just me. Yeah. If you want to hate me in the comments, go ahead. We like comments. So that was the first thing. The second thing was I liked the Luke Skywalker thing, of course, connecting such an iconic look, an iconic character at an iconic moment was awesome. But the thing that I liked the best was the whole idea of where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Right? Because we all know Luke Skywalker students don't fare very well thanks to Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. So what's going to happen? There's got to be something that goes on there. But anyway.
What I'm sure you've heard this theory where maybe R2-D2 was the one who actually saved the child during Order 66, right? And so, and that's the reason why there was some acknowledged when he looks up at R2D2 that the fear is a little bit subsides. And I also noticed that, you know, if you kind of are looking at the Mandalorian and you look at R2D2 with both having this helmet that never gets removed, there's some similarities of the reason why that child would also feel a closeness to this person to protect them.
Yeah. I've seen that theory floated around a few times. That would be, I would be totally fine with that. That would be
like if like he put him in his little head hole and then got him out of there. And then that's why he floats around in that little egg, because it kind of still looks like R2D2.
Hey, not a bad theory there.
And my other question is, so I think that we've all come to the idea now that we've seen this, that we need to see more of what happened with Luke Skywalker during this time. And do you continue on with this? I mean, for the moment, 100% just to see it, and especially for the fact that it was actually Mark Hamill who did the actual scene.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. It's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Do you continue using that technology to do a series for himself, or do we recast and we already all know who we want?
Yes. I would not do the CG thing. My favorite movie, not just my favorite Star Wars movie, my favorite movie is Rogue One. And I felt like the CG that they used for Grand Moff Tarkin was probably like a 9 out of 10. It looked great.
Yeah.
The CG they used for
Leia.
Carrie Fisher at the end,
it was like a 5 out of 10.
It was an amazing moment. Yeah.
That's Princess Leia.
Yeah. Who dat? It was good for that moment. It was a great moment.
Shock value.
Yeah. And to be like, oh yeah, that's so cool. But if they were like, we're going to do an Adventures of Princess Leia TV series with a CGI Leia the whole time, I would be like, no, please don't.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about Luke Skywalker. It was a cool moment. Don't try to make a whole show about it. No. I think we both know who we want to play Luke Skywalker if they spin off. It rhymes with Sebastian Schman. Sebastian Stan, aka the Winter Soldier, should be Luke Skywalker.
100%. Dead ringer.
Yeah. And I would love to see some nod to what Luke is doing during, this period of time between where we now know he is in The Mandalorian and where we pick up on his story in flashbacks in the sequel series. I don't want a Luke Skywalker show.
No,
just like I don't want a Darth Vader show. I've seen enough. I know those characters. I'm far more excited for some of the other spinoffs that are coming, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If they decide to go that route and they decide to have more Luke Skywalker, then it's got to be Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, 100%.
So
even if they just use him for flashbacks.
Yeah. That's I think they should. I mean, Disney has a relationship with him already. It wouldn't seem like that big of a stretch.
You like literally just have to walk to the next sound stage,
Yeah, right. Just bang on the wall
with his metal arm.
Yes.
He already got it.
Right. Oh, look at that. So meta. Other spinoffs that we're going to see coming, the Book of Boba Fett, which was revealed in that super cool stinger scene at the end of the Mandalorian finale, which they don't do post-credit scenes usually. So I was sitting there texting Jerry, literally just like, oh my God, at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there texting him, and then all of a sudden something popped up, and I was like, is there a post-credit scene? And then it happened, and I was just like, so good. And which makes me super excited for this Boba Fett spinoff.
And the idea that you're going to see the Book of Boba Fett before you see the next season of Mandalorian, because they're actually going to film the Book of Boba Fett before they film. It'll go directly into the Mandalorian. And this is, I'm guessing, like, is it a continuation of his story after what we see in the Mandalorian, or are we going to find out what happened to him during that period of time where nobody knows what's going on?
I think they're going to do it with flashbacks. I think it's going to go back and forth. I think a lot of what we're going to see is going to be current, like him taking over for Jabba the Hutt and kind of doing whatever he's doing on Tatooine. And then I think we'll get to see a lot of the story of him, coming out of the Sarlacc and et cetera, and how he survived all that time and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I love that we definitely have Mando season 3 coming. They've already confirmed it. The Book of Boba Fett, which is going to tie in at least some small way to The Mandalorian. We have the Ahsoka spinoff, which I don't even need to talk about how excited I am about that because it'll be a whole other hour, which is also supposed to tie into the events of The Mandalorian. Rangers of the New Republic, which is also supposed to tie into The Mandalorian. You have to think that all of these things coming together is going to lead to the whole Grand Admiral Thrawn story.
Yes.
So, I mean, the Rangers of the New Republic, we assume is going to be sort of a, space cop sort of thing. And speaking of Thrawn, some interesting little rumors floating around about who is interested in playing Thrawn.
Yeah, I saw that Robert Downey Jr. is being approached.
I don't know, man. I'm not into it. Into it.
I mean, he's so versatile. I mean, like he's been Chaplin and what's his name? Oh yeah, Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Doolittle. I don't know. I was just telling Jerry when we were kind of prepping for today, Robert Downey Jr. is too likable. To be Thrawn. Thrawn is supposed to be just like this pure, cold, calculating, like does not care about anyone or anything. It's all about strategy and success. I've talked before about how I think Jason Isaacs would be the best choice. Benedict Cumberbatch would be an amazing choice. Jeremy Irons, if you wanted to play him a little older. Jerry mentioned Matt Smith, which I think he would be good.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not into RDJ as Thrawn.
Yeah, I think that also I always found him to be that he was supposed to be a little bit more menacing, in stature.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Downey Jr. is he wore heels through all the Avengers movies. I mean,
right.
The man's not a very big man.
No. That
Gunner Woman is going to just take him out.
Oh yeah, she could take anybody out. My. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I do, no matter what happens, whether it's Thrawn or whether it's some other sort of connective tissue that connects all of these shows together, I do hope that we do sort of get that kind of build and connection the same way that we've had with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Disney's been at the helm for all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they're gonna do the same thing with their Star Wars content. Okay. And we've got some good stuff coming down the pike, man.
Can't wait.
Yes. All right, guys. Hey, check back with us very soon. We are going to be talking about WandaVision specifically, and we're going to have a giveaway. We're going to give something away. Thank you for joining us. Miss doing this. Don't forget to follow us on social media at We Them Nerds on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Be good. Be good to each other.
Peace.
Bye.